Okay, so I'm doing this for the recording again. So hey everyone, Cynthia Ray here. So tonight I'm going to be teaching on holiday wellness and keys to lasting resolutions. Discover strategies to avoid and overcome common holiday wellness traps. If you have struggled with holiday eating and known that the way you eat during the holidays leads you to need to lose weight and reclaim or even reset your health in the new year, then this class is definitely for you. So before we dive into all this great information for this class, I just want to make sure that you turn everything off that's operating in the background, including your email, social media platforms. Turn off and silence your phone, close your door. Give yourself this time to relax and discover some new strategies for managing your holiday season health habits. So I'm going to attach to this workshop the packet with additional information associated with it. So it's a little packet of information that you can use in your daily life, food journaling and emotions journaling, and you'll find out more about that as we go through the class, but I'll attach that here and you can use that for after class. All right, so welcome. And if you want to, maybe sometimes I like to listen to things like this and, maybe fold some laundry, do some dishes, but it really is a great idea to just sit and listen and get all the information you can out of it. So, do you ever go straight to the kitchen and just start eating when you're feeling upset or stressed? So this class is interactive. So if you're watching the replay or watching me live, go ahead and comment below with what your answers may be to this. If you don't feel comfortable, that's totally fine. But the more we share, the more we can learn from each other. So do you go straight to the kitchen and just start eating when you're feeling upset or stressed? Or do you eat more food at a holiday gathering because you feel stressed or uncomfortable, or maybe you might even use it as a distraction for something else to do or for comfort? Or maybe just the association of the holidays as a time to give yourself full permission to enjoy all the foods you want. If so, you will really appreciate what we're about to discuss in this class. Do you ever not want to eat or sleep so you can get more done? Then end up getting too hungry and tired and end up overeating? I know this one totally speaks to me personally because this is my natural tendency. I stress don't eat instead of stress eat. So everybody has a different way of handling stress. And if you can identify with this one, then me and you have something in common. So do you ever start eating when you aren't hungry, but you think that maybe it'll help you feel better emotionally? If you can relate to any of these scenarios and this is you, then you are definitely in the right place. Get ready because help is on the way. Do you ever start a new wellness plan feeling so motivated and so inspired, thinking that this is the one, but find yourself falling off and self-sabotaging a few weeks or maybe even a few months in? Well, the good news is if you answered yes to any of these questions, then help is here. I am so excited to spend this time with you because I have some great information to share and some awesome solutions to give you to any of these common problems. Okay, let me go back one here. Okay, so you're in the right place because you want to learn how to be at your best this holiday season and for this new year. You want to learn ways to cope with your emotions using non-food techniques. Maybe you want to learn how to take control of holiday stress and stay healthy. If you feel like food or stress controls you, you're in the right place. I'm excited to teach you to find freedom from food and how to manage and recognize stress. The key is to make sure you have a plan in place before you get to the stressful moments or holiday parties. It's really important to practice stress reduction techniques on a regular basis with daily exercise and meditation, and even having a meal plan in place or knowing what you're going to eat the day before or at least the morning before you begin eating really reduces your risk for overeating or undereating and then overeating later on. So having a plan in place is super important. If you're in the right place, if you want to feel in control of your wellness goals for the new year, rather than feel disappointed about your failed attempts, which of course is super common. Okay, so just want to let you know that in this workshop, you're going to learn all of these things and so much more. But I just want to make sure that you stay till the end and get all the information that you need. And if you do stay to the end, I'm going to give you a special bonus. It's my guide to overcoming emotional eating, a how-to guide. So if you want to learn a little bit more about this or have a little something to download and refer to for more information, stay till the end and I will give you the link on how to do that. Okay, let's move on. Okay, let's dive in and let's start talking about emotional eating. So in this class today, you're going to be learning the difference between emotional eating and normal eating. So some common triggers that lead to emotional eating and stress eating or not eating is something else you'll learn today. You're also going to be learning how to recognize how to recognize what causes you to be an emotional eater. You're also going to learn what is mindful and what intentional eating is, which are two keys to getting over emotional eating or boredom eating or whatever you want to refer to it as. And also you're going to learn some solutions for overcoming emotional eating and really great tactics for eliminating self-sabotage in the new year. So let me first introduce myself to you. So my name is Cynthia Ray. I'm a registered dietitian and fitness specialist. I am the founder of Well Within Nutrition. I've been in private practice as a dietitian for about 20 years now and have a passion for helping women, especially women from about 40 to 65 years old, how to enjoy food, how to fall in love with fitness, and trust their bodies through an intuitive approach to wellness and weight loss. So in my private practice over the years, initially, probably within the first 5 to 10 years, I worked primarily with eating disorders patients. So I really learned a lot about behavior, about mindset, about self-sabotage, about self-talk, and how all of these can contribute to your wellness. So what I do is I use those same techniques and concepts to help people to break through weight loss plateaus, especially women, break through weight loss plateaus without dieting and living in a wellness lifestyle. Okay, so that is me. So let's go ahead and dive into normal eating. So let's start here. So what actually is normal eating? So a lot of times we think about eating and food, but we don't really talk about what normal eating is. We usually talk about what dieting is or what a diet is, or maybe a medical diet or a weight loss diet like paleo or keto, or commercial ones like Jenny Craig or Weight Watchers, or whatever your program, Optavia, whatever program you're doing in the moment. And we talk about how to eat, but we don't really talk about what normal eating actually is. So today I want to share with you something special that I share with my clients on a regular basis and also in my groups, my online groups. This is the definition of normal eating written by Ellen Satter, and way back in 1983. So let me give you a little bit of background. So Ellen Satter is an amazing lady. She happens to be a registered dietitian and is also a social worker. So she really understands the whole person, the physical, the biological properties, but also the emotional aspects of a person. So she came up with this amazing definition of what normal eating is. And I always think it's kind of interesting because how often, like I said, do we actually think about what normal eating is? But what I want you to do is I want you to, as I read through this, think of someone, or maybe just naturally someone might come to mind who you can see fitting this mold of being a normal eater, or maybe yourself, maybe a normal eater, or maybe when you were younger, or maybe children, or maybe someone else in your life. So what is normal eating? So normal eating is going to the table hungry and eating until you're satisfied. It's being able to choose food you enjoy and eat it and truly get enough of it, not just stop eating because you think you should. Normal eating is being able to give some thought to your food selection so you get nutritious foods, but not being so wary and restrictive that you miss out on enjoyable food. Normal eating is giving yourself permission to eat sometimes because you're happy, sad, or bored, or just because it feels good. Normal eating is mostly 3 meals a day, or 4 or 5, or it can be choosing to munch along the way. It's leaving some cookies on the plate because you know you can have some again tomorrow. Or maybe it's eating more now because they taste so wonderful. Normal eating is overeating at times, feeling stuffed and uncomfortable, and it can be undereating at times, wishing you had more. Normal eating is trusting your body to make up for your mistakes in eating. Normal eating takes up some of your time and attention, but keeps its place as only one important area of your life. In short, normal eating is flexible. It varies in response to your hunger, to your schedule, and to your proximity of food, and of course, your feelings. So isn't that so cool? So did you think of somebody? If you want to share, you can comment below. Did you think of somebody who totally is a normal eater? Is it you? Is it somebody else in your life? So share with us and let us know who it is in your life that seems to be a normal eater. So I know for me, when I think of normal eating, I think of children because naturally we are born as normal eaters, right? So we eat when we're hungry, we stop when we're satisfied. As babies, right, we cry for hunger, to eat, and we push away or pull away when we're satisfied. So if you think about it, have you ever tried to feed a baby when it's not hungry? Either bottle fed or breastfed or however. You'd probably get some whining, some cranking, some pulling away, some kind of like wiggling around and, kind of arching its back. And have you ever tried to not feed a baby when they are hungry? That is something I don't want to be around. So as in nature, we are all born with that innate ability to eat when we're hungry, stop when we're satisfied, and move on. The cool thing is that with babies in infancy, we all experience a variety of things, not just nutrition, but we experience emotional comfort as well, right? So we're being held, or we're being nurtured and being held close while being fed. Usually nursing really provides that. And of course, if you bottle feed your baby, you can hold your baby close and really gain some bonding and connection with your child just during feeding. So a lot of times, we're going to talk about emotional eating soon, but a lot of times as adults, we try to recreate, I guess, that opportunity, that moment with food to get like the comfort, the nourishment, the nurturing, the assurance and the security that we have gotten when we were babies. But sometimes we're not actually hungry, but we're hungry emotionally. So I just want to give you a little heads up on that because we're going to dive into emotional eating and non-hunger eating. So anyway, so that is normal eating. So if you thought of somebody, let me know who that person is for you that seems to be a perfect normal eater. All right. So emotional and binge eating, let's dive into that now. So emotional and binge eating are actually two different things. With emotional eating, it is something that happens based on how you're feeling in the moment. And somebody who is a binge eater is based on somebody who actually has an underlying psychological, emotional, medical condition like depression or anxiety or fear or social anxiety, whatever it may be, that is underlying the binge eating disorder. Or maybe they even have some trauma, or just don't know how to express or feel emotions. So they use food on a regular basis to heal emotions or to feel better. So some emotions that may be triggering is when somebody is sad, stressed, or upset about something. But they also need to address emotional needs directly and not use food, right? So in this case, people are using food to calm emotions, but in fact, they actually need to address the emotional needs directly without using food. Another thing is they need to also find other ways to cope with stress other than food. So of course, people have different ways of handling and managing their feelings and behavior when they're depressed, stressed, or upset about something. So not everybody uses food. Sometimes people may also resort to another addiction, whether it's shopping or drugs or alcohol or sex or whatever it is that keeps somebody numb and the feelings at bay. So binge eating also can go in that category of keeping emotions numb because they don't know how to cope or deal with them. All right. So emotional and binge eating. So emotional binge eating also, this is when food fills an emotional void for some people, which I just described a little bit about. When emotional eating, it's when people are trying to find comfort in food, when you're upset or sad or having negative or strong positive feelings about something in your life, or associate eating with life events. So like I was saying, so emotional eating is when you eat in response to your emotions and maybe have strong positive feelings of elation can also cause emotional eating too. So I can remember when a client of mine she's a teenager, actually, she's probably about 15, 16 years old at the time. And when I met with her one day in my office, and she was super excited because she just had broken off a relationship with her boyfriend that she was trying to break off for some time. She finally did it, was super proud of herself and felt really relieved, and was really excited about it. And when she left my office, as she was leaving, we were saying our goodbyes, and she looked at her mom and she said, "Oh, Mom, let's go get a frozen yogurt right now. This sounds so good. I'm just so excited about what I did. I just feel so relieved, almost like a celebration." So as soon as she said that, I asked her before she left, I said, "Are you actually hungry physically? Or are you just really excited and you want something to eat?" So she actually had to stop and think about it for a second. And then she realized she wasn't actually hungry. So I said, "Well, how about this? It's super great to be excited. You can share it with, your mom or anybody close to you feel comfortable with, and maybe even journal it just to kind of, share that excitement with somebody." And I said, "Okay, well, instead, maybe just wait till you get hungry and then go enjoy your special treat." So she did. And sometimes I realize too, it's emotional eating doesn't always happen with negative emotions, but it can also happen with really strong positive emotions too. So that may be something that you can relate to as well. Okay, emotional eating often leads to feelings of guilt or shame afterwards, including the feelings that you began with. So after choosing to eat in response to feeling stressed, you feel guilty after eating because you recognize that you chose to eat for the wrong reasons, and those reasons were not hunger. So a lot of times too with my clients, I found and I see that they are eating obviously to feel, emotional comfort. But the thing is, the telltale sign about emotional eating is how they feel about it afterwards, the feelings of guilt and shame. And the problem is, not only are they feeling stuffed and uncomfortable, but they're still feeling the feelings that they were trying to numb and cover up. And now it's compounded. Not only do they feel, uncomfortable and full, shame and guilt, but they're still feeling stressed, sad, depressed, overwhelmed, scared, what have you. So it just makes it even worse instead of actually approaching the feelings themselves. All right, so of course, emotional eating can also lead to cycles of emotional eating behavior. So technically, these are called maladaptive coping strategies. And maladaptive coping strategies are, like I said before, are addictions that people go to deal with the stress in their life, the anxiety, the overwhelm, the fear, or maybe, like I said, past trauma that plagues them. So these maladaptive coping strategies serve to numb the feelings so that the person doesn't have to feel them. So when somebody is emotional eating, they have a momentary numbing or pausing of the emotions and feelings that are coming up that are just way too strong and hard to handle. So a lot of times people will come up with maladaptive coping strategies to manage them. So, all right, let's talk about holidays. So emotional eating during the holidays and emotional stress. So It's interesting because I wonder how much of the holiday stress is actually like a real thing. I know it's a real thing, we feel it, but is it necessary, right? We tend to forget why we're celebrating, what we're celebrating, and then we just go to how we're doing it because we're kind of, honestly, it feels like we're led by media, social media, marketing, advertising, um, basically like Black Friday or whatever deals are happening, like, oh, get it now or else you'll lose or miss out. So we all feel overwhelmed. And then there's the people in the store and it's a lot of energy happening. And just that stress in itself, or maybe you have really high expectations for yourself during the holidays and events coming up in your life and you're thinking, oh man, I really hope this works out. Or you have a lot of holiday parties happening. You have to bring, a gift to a holiday party or bring food or appetizers or whatever. So not only are you experiencing your daily life stuff, but you're also experiencing the additional stress or additional chores or tasks that you need to do during the holiday season as well. So unfortunately, fortunately, we need to figure out how to handle emotional stress. And a lot of times people will revert to food for comfort or for distraction or to put something off. And it can also, of course, lead to other health problems. So if you're emotionally eating because of stress, it's obviously going to contribute to weight gain and other health related issues like depression. So the other thing too that happens is it can also not just lead to weight gain, but also can lead to hormonal imbalances, which causes more cravings. As you gain weight from eating when you're not hungry, it can affect your mood, of course, the way you think, the way you look, your hormones, and your confidence, and how you handle stress. So when you don't have the proper nutrition on board that you need to handle stress, it makes it even more difficult to think logically and rationally, and it increases anxiety and maybe even some depression. So, all right. It's interesting because some people don't realize that this can affect both men and women. So share your thoughts below. What do you think? Do you feel like it affects men more or women more? Emotional eating. Do more women emotionally eat, or do you think more men emotionally eat? So comment below and let me know what you're thinking. All right, so I'm actually going to reveal it on the next slide. Oh, actually, I didn't yet. I thought I was, let me go back here. So here is the result. The result is that some studies do show and say that emotional eating is more common with women than with men. So why do you think that more women are struggling with emotional eating than men? So the reality is that research is kind of conflicting and it's inconclusive. But one of the things that I'm thinking is that maybe because women hold on to emotions more than men, I'm not sure. And I'm sure there's you probably have men in your life who you may feel hold on to them more, but depending on your personality too, right? But it seems like across the board, overall, studies do show that women struggle with emotional eating more than men do in general. All right, what is binge eating? So we're gonna kind of shift gear, from emotional eating to binge eating. So the definition of binge eating is eating large amounts of food in a short period of time. And then just like emotional eating, also feeling guilty or sad afterwards. So the difference is that binge eating is actually considered a medical condition. And the way it can be defined is if somebody is eating large amounts of food in a short period of time for about 6 months to 12 months consistently. And actually, this type of situation would need medical treatment. And if you feel like you fall into this category, this is actually my area of specialty of treatment. So if you need some help and support with this, I'm here for you, and I'm ready to help you and give you the tools that you need to recover from this condition. So you can feel free to private message me or email me, and let me know if you need a little support in this area, and I'm happy to help or provide you with resources. Or even if you know somebody too, if you know somebody who struggles with binge eating and they're just grossly overweight and you know that they're using emotions to comfort themselves, food to comfort their emotions, let me know. I'm happy to help. So binge eating is actually classified as a medical condition. It's not a problem with self-restraint, and it does not involve willpower. And that's because it actually has to do with underlying medical conditions. Um, like I said, depression, anxiety, and things like that, and trauma, like I said, that would lead somebody to needing food to comfort themselves because they don't know how to comfort their emotions otherwise. I'm going to kind of back up a little bit here, but emotional eating, like I say, is a way to numb emotions. And I actually forgot what I was going to say. That was weird. Anyway, if it comes back to me, I'll let you know. But usually when somebody is binge eating, they're usually going to be craving carbohydrates. Like I said, it numbs emotions. And here we go. It actually changes brain chemistry as well. So technically, if you think about it, the reality is that food actually can act as a drug. So for example, somebody who likes to eat crunchy, salty foods when they're emotional, when they are feeling, let some people in here. When some people are feeling, there we go. Sorry about that. Okay. So sometimes when people are feeling like they need something to eat, when they're feeling strong emotions, when they're feeling anger or frustration, a lot of times people will go do crunchy, salty foods because it actually releases brain chemicals to help to calm you down when you're crunching on something. Another thing is people are craving sweet, creamy foods, sweet, creamy, warm, creamy, comfort type foods that actually also releases some brain chemicals to make yourself feel calm, relaxed, loved, nurtured, and cared for. Just like I mentioned earlier when I was talking about, when you're a baby and you're being held and you're getting nourished and you're getting fed and you're getting emotional comfort and soothed, it not only serves for, nourish or for, satisfying hunger, but it also serves an emotional need too. So if you're finding yourself looking for comfort foods, it actually does provide the feeling of comfort. And if you're looking for a relief of anger and frustration, crunching on foods that are salty and crunchy actually do the job too, temporarily, right? Not for long. Once that calm goes away, what are you going to do with the emotions that you're feeling in the first place? That is absolutely key. All right, let's talk about some triggers. So triggers that lead to emotional and binge eating. So of course, stress at work, relationship issues, issues with finances, not really feeling like you're worthy of self-love. That's a big one that it's kind of a root issue that I found with a lot of my clients and people in my groups. Of course, fear, feeling general fear, anxiety, and stress. So those types of things are going to allow somebody to want to emotionally eat. All right, triggers that lead to emotional and binge eating. And that's a few more of them are boredom, just having a bad day, and hormonal changes. That's another big one that many experience as well. So you might find too that, a lot of times people will say, oh, I'm just feeling bored, so I eat when I'm bored, or I'm having a bad day, so I'm going to grab something to eat. Having a bad day too actually is common with alcohol. So sometimes people will drink alcohol to kind of calm themselves down or make themselves feel a little bit better, make their day a little better. And going back to boredom, so boredom is actually classified under anger. So it's kind of, I was reading a little bit about that, and it was like anger as far as like, you committed to doing something and you're excited about it, but realized it wasn't what you thought it was. And then you're bored, but you're also angry because you're disappointed about the outcome. So, but usually boredom is also, obviously another way people engage in emotional eating. Another thing I don't have up here, but that I've also come across several times is, and I've heard too, I'm sure you've heard this too, but eating when you feel like you deserve something special, like a special treat, or, I deserve this. I just, did this huge project and I completed it, or I just overcame something really big, something basically celebratory, or saying, oh, I totally deserve this, or I've been really good on my diet and I haven't eaten anything, any treat food in a while. I totally deserve it. And whether or not somebody's hungry, that's the key. So if you're eating it when you're not hungry, that's when it's more emotional than physical, right? So if you're eating when you're not hungry, it's emotional. If you're eating when you are hungry, it's physical. And I'm going to teach you some ways to distinguish those in just a bit. Okay. Another trigger that can lead to emotional eating. Let somebody else in here. Okay. So another trigger that can lead to emotional eating is binge eating. So binge eating is associated with mental health conditions, like I said before, chronic sadness and anxiety. So like I said, if you feel like you can associate with somebody who is dealing with binge eating, reach out and let me know. I'm more than happy to help. Okay, so make sure that the key is to understand your triggers to help anticipate binges before they occur. And the best way to do that is to keep a food diary, and even a food diary that also includes emotions or feelings that are felt when eating the food. So how you respond to the food, you can write in there the food you ate, and also the emotions that were happening or the feelings that were happening while you're eating that particular food. So, or having that meal. And I use this in my practice regularly to help clients to start identifying their feelings. And once you can identify those feelings that are triggering, it's really a lot easier to know those in advance, because when that situation comes up again in your life and you found yourself going to food, you can kind of stop yourself and think, oh, wait a second, what am I feeling right now? Am I feeling angry about something? Am I frustrated? Am I bored? Am I tired? What's going on right now, based on what I've learned from my patterns from before. So it's really a good idea to start kind of, getting curious and thinking about why I'm eating, or what kind of emotional triggers come up that cause me to want to eat when I'm not hungry. Okay. Another thing is how to recognize, let me just move on here. You want to make sure to pay attention to how and when your eating starts. So you need to pay attention to how you feel after eating, but also before you're eating, making sure to identify physical hunger and end when you are satisfied. So if you are not really paying attention, it's really hard to catch yourself if you're eating when you're not hungry. So make sure to pay attention to how you feel when you start eating, maybe even check in with yourself. How hungry am I right now? Am I hungry at all? What's going on? All right. So of course, it's really important, especially, and this is probably one of the hardest things for people to do, is especially in the moment, excuse me, differentiate or distinguish between emotional and physical hunger. So what is the difference between emotional and physical hunger, and how will I know when I'm doing which? So I'm going to share with you here. Actually, I'm going to skip this one real quick. I'm going to share with you the difference between emotional hunger and binge or physical hunger. So let's look at these real quick. So emotional hunger. Emotional hunger, the way you know it's emotional hunger is if it comes about fast or suddenly. You only crave certain foods. It's very specific. You binge on food but don't feel full. And the reason why that happens is because you have an emotional need and the food doesn't satisfy it. So you never really actually feel satisfied. You also feel guilt or shameful after eating. So that's how you know. That's emotional hunger. The way you'll know it's physical hunger is if hunger develops slowly over a period of time. It's physical hunger if you desire a lot of different foods. It's physical hunger when you get the feeling of being full and in turn stop eating. And then also you don't have negative feelings after eating, but you feel content and nurtured. So as you can see, there's quite a bit of difference between these two types of hunger. Guilt and shame not only comes after binging, but it can also lead to it can also happen in a perceived binge. So what I mean by perceived binge is, let's say you've been on a diet or meal plan or cleansing or whatever it might be, and you are eating something that is not allowed on this particular diet, and having that thing that's not allowed will actually can maybe even feel like a binge, or can lead to a binge where you're like, you know what, forget it. Throw in the towel. I don't care. I totally messed up. I'm just going to go for it and eat whatever I want. So it's kind of like, call it like pouting. When you're pouting angry at yourself, that's emotional eating too, right? So that happens as well. So maybe that can actually lead to the diet cycle, which I'll share with you next, of how we end up in this dieting cycle of overeating, then feeling guilty, then going on a diet, then feeling restricted, then overeating, then feeling guilty, then looking for a diet, and so on. So you really want to be aware of these things. So let me go back and show you my slide of the diet cycle. So you may be able to identify what this is a pretty common occurrence. So this is the way the diet cycle works. So you start a new diet at the top. There you see that. So you start a new diet, then you feel deprived, then you feel intense food cravings and an urge to eat. And then because of that, you break the diet and binge eat. Then after binge eating, you feel out of control and so guilty. Then because of that, you want to regain control. In order to regain control, the only thing you know to do is start a new diet. And the cycle continues to feel deprived, intense food cravings, and urge to eat, and so on. So this is highly common. And it's unfortunate that this is the case. But in working in my clients and in my own recovery with my relationship with food, is that the only way to get out of this is to become a mindful eater, to be more aware of what you're doing, what you're talking about, and also to really address your emotions, right? It's a must, right? But you get to the point in this diet cycle where you're feeling deprived and you have an intense need for food cravings, and then you break the binge, it's those feelings that are coming along that you really need to address, which will get you out of the cycle. If you're not addressing the feelings, the cycle will continue. So in my program called the Well Within Lifestyle Academy, that is how it's different from any other weight loss or wellness program, is that not only are we learning about nutrition and healthy eating and exercise and all those awesome things, but I'm showing you specifically from the get-go, the foundation of the program is to teach you how to break out of the diet cycle by addressing emotions within the first 3 chapters of my program. We dive in heavy. We make sure that we're addressing self-sabotage, and it's personalized. So it's basically, I'm going through, you can listen to my audios or read the transcripts, but in there, you're going to find that the first 3 or 4 modules, I'm talking about emotions, self-sabotage, self-talk, and helping you to reclaim the truth about who you are, about what you're doing, and affirming you as a person and your personality and character, and helping you to break through any self-sabotage or negative self-talk in order to move yourself forward in your wellness goals. So that's super important to know and understand. I really honestly don't know another diet program out there who does that. And the reason why, honestly, I have to be totally honest with you, is that all diet programs know that somebody has to actually have a strong reason why they're doing it. And they also have to address emotional issues that are keeping them stuck. But they don't, because they know that you'll come back for more. And it's a business, right? And like anything, that's totally fine. It's a business. But they don't show you those things because they want people to come back. And I've known this because I grew up in a family of dieters and watched them diet. And I've had my struggles with food myself and have seen this happening in my own world. And I'll share with you a little bit more about that later. But that is unfortunate about the diet cycle. Okay, so let me show you the other cycle. It's a little bit blurry. The emotional eating cycle. And the emotional eating cycle is just kind of describing what we've been talking about. So it starts with feeling guilty and powerless. Sometimes something happens that upsets you. Then you feel an overwhelming urge to eat. Then you eat more than you know you should. And then you feel guilty and powerless over food. Something happens to upset you, and so on. That keeps continuing. But again, the way we get out of this is through mindful and intuitive eating and addressing the emotions, stopping yourself. And I even teach my clients, if they're going through an emotional eating or a binge eating episode, to just step, because we talk about it, so they're aware of it. And I tell them to kind of put their awareness out there. But when they notice that they're doing it or about to go into it, just to walk away, get away for like 20 to 30 minutes, take a little breather, get out of the environment that's triggering. Maybe, organize something, which actually is amazingly helpful. It's an extra little tip for you. If you're feeling emotional too, organize something, whether it's your purse or a closet or a drawer or your closet, whatever it might be. And it's going to create a huge mind shift and kind of calm those things down. And it actually accesses a different part of your brain to get you out of that emotional cycle. So obviously doing things that are outlets like taking a bath, relaxing, nurturing yourself, going for a walk, maybe for a run if you're feeling overwhelmed, get some exercise in, run up and down some stairs, do a bunch of push-ups really fast to get yourself out of fight or flight mode. So the best way to do that is like to do hard exercise for a short period of time, to do some deep breathing exercising, maybe spend some time in prayer and meditation. But those are lots of things that you can do to basically to stop the emotional eating cycle by being mindful of what's happening and maybe even writing down the feelings that you're feeling that's driving you to eat and then coming back. So I invite them, I said, okay, go out for 20, 30 minutes, do one of these many things that you can do, and then come back to your house, come back to the food. And at that point you can decide, okay, am I hungry? Am I actually hungry? Am I full? What's going on? And if you are hungry, you totally have permission to eat, but make sure to eat mindfully when you do. So come back from your 20, 30 minutes away, sit down with your food, be intentional about it, maybe make it a special occasion, put a cute little plate out, a placemat, a fork and knife, some silverware and a napkin, and then serve yourself calmly and mindfully, enjoying all of the food. So that's how to get out of that. All right, let's talk about mindful eating, which I mentioned a little bit already about. So mindful eating is a technique that I use all the time and I use in my own life. Technique to regain control over your eating habits. But what it is, basically, it's paying attention to your body's signals so you can stop eating when you're full. Okay. So the body actually sends its satiation signals. It takes about 20 minutes for the brain to give the stomach the signal of fullness. So if you are feeling, if you're emotionally eating or eating quickly, you're most likely not going to get that signal until later on, and you'll end up being too full. But if you're eating mindfully and slowly and tasting the food, it allows you to slow down and then also finally receive that signal and then end your meal. What you'll find too, I'm sure you've experienced this before, but if you start eating when you're too hungry, you're going to stop eating when you're too full. That's just the way it works. And usually because if you're eating when you're too hungry, it's because you're eating quickly. And then by the time you're done with the meal, your body, your brain hasn't given your stomach the signal yet. And by the time you're done and it's been 20, 30 minutes, you're realizing how actually full you really are. So definitely with mindful eating, it makes eating intentional instead of just automatic. It's being in the moment, just you and the food, which I love. This mindful eating is a method used to help reduce binge eating and help you to feel so much better. So this is something I use all the time with my clients. It's actually part of my philosophy and style. So I definitely would encourage you to do that. Eating mindfully is eating slowly with no distractions. It's eating until you're full, which was a physical hunger cue, and eating to maintain your health as fuel. So of course, I know food is made for nourishment. It's made for feeling satisfied, but also for taste, right? The number one, I guess, top selling foods on the market are the ones that are tastiest and the most appealing, visually appealing. So if it doesn't look good or it doesn't taste good, we're not going to eat it. So I understand that there's, obviously there's something important there. So if you're going to, mindful eating doesn't just include eating when you're hungry, stopping when you're satisfied, but also enjoying and savoring the food that you're eating. So that's a big factor. And it's also part of the food experience to enjoy the food. So I'm totally okay with that. Okay. Yes. So one of the tactics I like to use is part of mindful eating is planning meals ahead of time. So you have a go-to system to rely on when you're hungry. So planning is key. This is so key as you're learning and avoiding getting too hungry by always having food with you. So I like to recommend having a dry shelf-stable snack, snack that you can pack in your purse or in your car for an emergency moment when a meal may not be available, but you are physically hungry. So in a section of the Well Within Lifestyle Academy, I teach you an entire chapter on how to meal plan and how to make it doable and sustainable. Because I know for a lot of women, like me and others, are busy and we have things going on, and meal planning is probably like feels overwhelming and like, oh, I don't want to do that because it seems like too much. It's just easier to eat as you go and cross that bridge when you get there, kind of a thing. But honestly, when you know how to meal plan and do it easily, like I teach in the academy, your life is so amazing. And I'm sure if you've done meal planning before, if you do it regularly or even on or off, there's such a sense of freedom and release that you get when you meal plan. So I would definitely encourage you to do that. And I believe I have a video on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, that, yeah, I do actually, that shows you exactly how to do that. And if you follow my Facebook page or my Facebook group, I actually shared that video over the last weekend. But if you're watching this later on or listening to this later on, just go to my YouTube channel, Well Within, and you'll find my video about how to meal plan. All right. What is mindful eating? Oh, I skipped ahead. Wait 1 second here. Okay. Okay. So the idea is you want to learn to cope with guilt and anxiety about food, which for some people is really challenging. And the best way to do that is to ask yourself why you're eating. Also, write your feelings in a journal at that moment so you can examine them later. This is the key, to look for behavioral patterns and to break the cycle and to instead create new patterns, right? So that is super key. The key is to ask yourself why you're eating, write your feelings down, and then from that journaling, you can look back for behavioral patterns to break the cycle and create new patterns instead. So with mindful eating, I really want to show you how to keep it simple, and it's super simple. Simple is ideal with anything when you're starting that's new. So something simple you can do with mindful eating is maybe just starting out with being intentional about eating mindfully for breakfast. So let's say at breakfast time, you're committing to, okay, I intend to eat a mindful breakfast every day this week, and just kind of experiment and see how it goes. So mindful eating basically means sitting at the table or sitting at a table with your food in front of you, and maybe experiencing the smell, the taste, the texture, the temperature, all the properties of the food, and maybe even, thinking about where it came from, how it was made, where you bought it, how it got to the grocery store, where it had its origins, and then just enjoying and tasting the food, just you and the food, no distractions, but just eating mindfully. And that is really a great exercise for preventing any mindless eating that may come along your way. So one of the things I also like to encourage my clients and friends and family and group members to do is if you're going to enjoy food, that's like a treat food, to do it very intentionally. Only go for the food that you really enjoy. Instead of maybe if you see a plate of cookies on the table or at a party and you see something that looks tasty and you just kind of grab it and eat it, that is actually mindless eating. And it kind of, for me, it feels like a waste of time. I'd rather, if I'm going to enjoy something special, I'm going to make it special and get just what I want and then sit with it and really savor it. So yeah, you're worth it. So make sure to do that. Okay. So this is a mindful eating scale and hunger and fullness scale. So the green, as you see, the green, it goes from 0 to 10. The green numbers 2 and 3 is like green means go. So 2 and 3 is a feeling of hunger, and 5 and 6 is red for stop. So you begin eating between a 2 and a 3, and then finish eating around a 5 or a 6. And if you want dessert, or if you want leftover, or you want extra food because it's a special occasion, just know that you can have more again later when you're hungry again later. So pack it up, put it away, know that you can have it again later. But just like with with normal eating, we learned that sometimes you want a little bit more, and that's fine. Once in a while, if you are out to a special meal or holiday meal and somebody made one of your favorite things that you have only during that time, it's okay. Totally enjoy it. Just still be mindful of what you're doing and enjoy your food. Okay. So setting an intention in advance about what you want to do with your food is a really good idea. Know what your ideal food day would look like, and set an intention for that day, month, or year, or even for your lifetime. What you want, so you would ask yourself, what do you want your relationship with food to be like? Maybe ask yourself, what type of wellness lifestyle do you want to lead? And setting an intention in advance ensures your success much more than just going with what life brings you moment to moment. And also it helps you to learn how to cope with emotions in more productive ways. So make sure that you are being intentional and setting an intention in advance about what you want your food lifestyle to look like. All right, another way to overcome emotional eating, so we're going to kind of go back to this, is regular exercise, walking, running, yoga, stretching, HIIT training, strength training, whatever it is that you love to do. Make sure to find something that you enjoy so much that you can't wait to do it that day or the next day or however. So regular exercise is definitely an awesome outlet for strong emotions or just not feeling well. Of course, talking to somebody, getting counseling, or just doing something that is self-care for you is really great too. So some more solutions for overcoming emotional binge eating are: keep healthy food and snacks on hand. Make sure not to go to the grocery store or go grocery shopping when you're feeling upset or stressed or just really triggered. Because what's going to happen, right? If you're feeling emotional and if food is a thing for you, when you're feeling emotional, you're going to end up buying things that aren't the healthiest. More often than not, we crave carbohydrate type foods when we're feeling stressed, whether they're crunchy or soft. And getting a lot of sugar in your body can be toxic. So make sure that you're not shopping when you're stressed or upset. And of course, watch your portion sizes, and that's comes with the hunger scale. So eating when you're hungry, stopping when you're satisfied, and being mindful so that you can listen for those cues. Another thing you can do is you can keep healthy food and snacks on hand, which makes sense. So getting enough nutrients, make sure you're getting enough nutrients in your meals, and get rid of the unhealthy food that you usually consume when you're not feeling good emotionally. If you are not feeling good emotionally and you have a lot of those foods available in your kitchen, you're going to find that obviously you're going to go for those, and it's be more triggering. But if you don't have that option, you'll be less likely to emotionally eat. All right, let's talk about solutions for eating during the holidays. So this is one of the things I kind of mentioned before, but one of the things I like to tell my clients and groups is that to save some for later, knowing that you'll be hungry again. So a lot of times we think, oh, this is it. This is all the food I can eat. This is the only time I get this meal. But like I said, if you're full, then save that special meal for later and know you can have it again for leftovers for lunch the next day, which is actually pretty exciting, or breakfast or whatever you want. Knowing that you'd be hungry again, and eating when you're hungry, like I said before, is key. So truly with the hunger scale, eating when you're hungry, stopping when you're satisfied is one of the main components to managing your weight or losing weight, especially for somebody if you maybe feel like you emotionally eat more often than you would like. If you begin eating just mindfully, the weight will just honestly fall right off. So when you're eating at a holiday meal, make sure that you're only eating your favorite foods and don't settle. So if you're going to your holiday meal and there's lots of different foods there, or your holiday party, whatever it may be, or maybe even you just have some holiday food gifts that people brought you, like cookies or breads or cakes, things like that. Only eat the ones you absolutely love, and make sure that you're hungry before you begin eating them, right? So those are the two things. Don't settle. And then, like I said, you can save some for later if you need to. Another great solution for during the holidays is meditation. Just simple deep breathing through your nose or alternating nostril breathing is really helpful when it comes to relaxing yourself. And of course, meditation can be done anywhere. If you just sit in a quiet space, look up videos online for simple meditation techniques, you only need about 5 minutes to feel refreshed. So it really doesn't take that much. Another thing you can do is, this is one thing I really like to share, is for some reason when we think about holiday eating, whether it's Thanksgiving or Christmas or New Year's or whatever it happens to be, or even Halloween or Valentine's or whatever holiday, we tend to associate those meal times with overeating. So I'm not sure why, I guess it's a cultural thing, I don't know, but it really doesn't have to be that way. Honestly, the way I do it and the way I teach how to do it is to treat that meal and that day like any other food day. You treat it like any other dinner you might have, any other lunch, whatever, breakfast, whatever you guys happen to be doing for the holidays. Treat it like any other meal. Choose the foods that make you feel good. Avoid foods that make you feel bad or sick or tired or whatever, and eat mindfully, just like you would any other meal. And instead of focusing so much on the meal, what if we put our focus on our family and the time we're spending together, and the food just happens to be part of it? And I know I'm totally a proponent of food bringing people together, and that's completely fine. But just really eat mindfully and enjoy the foods that you have at that meal. And a lot of times too, people will, like especially at Thanksgiving, will stop eating or will decide not to eat very much that day so they can save room for their Thanksgiving meal or their Christmas meal. But like I said, don't do that because you end up overeating and feeling horrible. So instead, eat like you normally would. Eat your normal breakfast, eat your normal lunch, your snacks, and then enjoy your dinner or holiday dinner that night. So focus. Also, too, you want to focus on color. When you're choosing foods, you want to fill your plate with lots of plant foods, and then use the other foods as little accessories, like an outfit. So fill your plate with majority plant foods and use the others as sides. And this is a great tip for seasonal wellness too, because if you're eating a lot of healthy plant foods, you're going to boost your immune system. And if you get sick at all, you're going to get better that much faster. So make sure to eat lots of color this holiday season. And like I said, avoid getting too hungry. Basically avoid not eating throughout the day to save up for the holiday meal, because that can lead to unintentional binge eating. And above all else, listen to your body. Be intuitive. If you eat something and don't feel well, avoid it. I know sometimes the food tastes so good and it's worth the pain later, but if you do that, make it infrequent. Sugars and stress are toxins and can bring in illness. So just really, practice self-care and nurture your body. All right. More solutions for eating during the holidays. So plan your meals 24 hours in advance. Like I said, if you can do meal planning, that would be awesome. And then, of course, just like anything, check in with your body before each meal and confirm that you're physically hungry before you begin eating. So this is one of the little acronyms I like to use to help my clients when it comes to understanding whether or not I'm emotionally eating or if I'm physically hungry. So there's a little acronym here called HALT, HALT, and I like to add an S on the end for stress. So if you are noticing that you are too hungry, too angry, too lonely, too tired, too stressed, or overwhelmed, those are actually the most common reasons why people decide or end up binge or emotional eating. So if you're feeling too hungry, too angry, too lonely, too tired, what do you need to do? So if you're feeling too hungry, you want to sit down and eat mindfully. If you're feeling too angry, you want to maybe do some other alternatives like dancing, listening to angry music, yelling, singing, ranting to a friend, or taking a shower. So just letting your aggression out. When I feel too angry or too overwhelmed, I just like to, either punch a pillow or squeeze, actually I've done this before where I'm driving and I squeeze my steering wheel really tight, actually releases energy. I hold it for 5 seconds and then release it, and then hold it strong, as tight as I can for another 5 seconds until I feel that relief. Or just squeeze something tight that you can squeeze to release that energy. If you're feeling lonely, definitely call or text a friend and remind yourself of the people who care for you. if you really want to be alone, curl up with a distracting movie, TV show, or book. I like to do funny movies. I know laughter truly is the best medicine, and it can turn around your mood. Also, if you're feeling lonely, I would start a gratitude list. So just start listing up all the things that you're thankful for, for your health, for your family, for your home, for food, for your job, whatever it happens to be for you. That's such a basic foundational thing. I know for me as a Christian, God is an important part of my life. So once I can think about my life and what I'm grateful for, all those other feelings just seem to dissolve away. If you're feeling too tired, I know it sounds obvious, but the best way to address this feeling is to sleep, right? There's really no hour that's too early to go to bed if your body needs rest. You can plan to get up early and finish your obligations when you're rested and focused. And I can totally attest to that. These past couple of weeks with school with the kids and things have been pretty hectic. But I found that if I just get some rest or just sit on the couch for a few minutes and close my eyes, I completely get rejuvenated. So I definitely would recommend that. All right, so some solutions for overcoming. So I just want to share a couple of stories about some women who I've worked with whose lives changed after discovering treating emotional eating. So there's a lot of them. I had to kind of narrow it down, but since I can't share their names because of confidentiality, I'm just going to give them some nicknames. So let's talk about Katie. So Katie was a client of mine probably about 8 years ago or so. And when she would come home for work, she felt really stressed and overwhelmed. And like a knee jerk reaction, she would just go right to the fridge, get a bunch of food, whatever she could get her hands on. And more often than not, it was, something sugary or bready, something soft and creamy that would really feel comforting to her. And then over time, as we were working together, it was so neat. Once I helped her to and with her therapist too, but we start to realize the emotions she was feeling and the why and the root of the emotions she was feeling, and why she was choosing to eat for comfort. I really started to see her grow and develop, and really actually almost mature into herself. So it's really exciting to see once you start understanding the emotions that you have and knowing how they trigger maybe you to eat or not eat. It's really cool to see that progress. And I was so happy for her and watching her grow. So another client of mine, let's call her Lynn. Lynn had been a dieter for years, and she really was frustrated with it. She would lose weight, then she would gain weight and lose weight and gain more weight and lose the weight and gain more weight. So she was stuck in this perpetual diet cycle. And when I stopped to ask her why she was doing that, or why she thought that was so important, we really got to the heart of the issue, being, how she felt about herself, how she felt people needed her to be, how people needed her to look, to feel loved and to feel appreciated. But because she never really addressed those heart emotions, she was stuck in the diet cycle. And once she started addressing those emotions, she started to really grow again and develop and start, just kind of being more aware of what she was doing when she was emotional eating. And it actually really helped so much in having her stop doing that or engaging that behavior. And initially, it's not automatic. Initially, it's just the person learning how to just be aware of it and know that it's happening. And maybe they still might binge eat, but it slows them down a little bit. And then over time, they are able to walk away from the food, walk away for 20 to 30 minutes, come back and decide and see if they want to eat or not. But it's amazing how it's a simple thing, but it's not always easy to do. So yeah, it's just so exciting to see this progress and changes happening. All right, let's talk about keys to long haul wellness. So like I mentioned in the title of this, I wanted to teach you about how to create lasting resolutions. So the number one key is you have to absolutely know your why. Why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you deciding to do what you're doing? So I'm going to share with you a story of a strong why that I heard probably maybe 6, 7 years ago. One of our friends, dad, had was struggling with his weight, and didn't really care to do much about it, but had a doctor appointment, and the doctor discovered that he was pre-diabetic and close to being diabetic. So in order for him to start making change, the doctor told him, he said, well, this is the reality. The reality is if that you don't change your eating habits and your lifestyle, you're not going to see your sons grow and enjoy their weddings and your grandchildren. And for him personally, that was super important to him. That really struck him and touched his heart. And that was the one thing that he knew that was most important to him, and nothing else would stand in his way of getting better. So once he heard that, he had his strong why. So if vacation came along, or he got sick, or what else happens if you move, or job change, or season change in your life, all those things changed for him. If they would have changed, because his why was so strong, it wouldn't have changed his new health habits, right? So if you don't have a strong why and you want to create new health habits, when you go on vacation or get sick or get tired of what you're doing or what have you, you're going to fall off, right? When any bumps in the road of life come in your way, you're going to fall off. And it's going to be super, super hard to jump back on, right? Because you're not only will you be disappointed about what happened, but you're going to be frustrated because you don't really want to start over again, because you knew how much work it took to get going to the place you're at. So it's super important to start with a strong why. Also, you want to check with your mindset and self-talk. So all of these things are actually key components to the Well Within Lifestyle Academy I was telling you all about. So knowing your why is something that we go through in the Academy in depth, and I help you to develop your why for your personal self. And your why at first can be something superficial, and over time you might know it a little more plainly. But it's super important to know that from the get-go before you can start doing any wellness work. So you also want to make sure to check your mindset and self-talk. Are you coaching yourself, or are you criticizing yourself? So I'm going to help you also in the Academy, but also when you're looking at long-term wellness, you want to make sure to know how you're talking to yourself, and how self-talk can be leading to self-sabotage, and how maybe looking a little bit deeper, understanding the roots of your self-talk, and then transforming that or reframing it to positive self-talk of truth statements that'll help you to keep moving forward. So also you want to know who you want to be. So you want to create a vision for that. It could maybe be, who you want to be. Who does that look like? What does that look like for you? Is it maybe like an old version of you, or a you that you want to be? Or maybe it's somebody that you look up to or admire, and that's the person you want to be like. So you want to make sure to know who you want to be before you start making strides with your wellness. So for example, I ask people in my academy, I say, let's stop and think for a minute. What does this particular person look like? What does she look like? How does she act when she is on, at her peak wellness? What are her daily habits and rituals? What is her confidence level like? How does she dress, and how does she approach others? So think about who you want to be. What does that picture look like? And then once you have that vision held of that person, then the key is to live it out. Hold your vision of who you want to be and live it out. That is so key, because if you don't have a strong why, if you don't check your mindset and your self-talk, if you know who you want to be and hold your vision and live it out, you definitely will have long-haul, long-term wellness. So make sure you have those things in check. All right, so like we talked about before, I'm just gonna do a little recap now. So some people use food to fill an emotional void to deal with stress in their lives, right? So we know that. We also know that this can lead to other weight problems, other problems such as weight gain and other health-related issues, right, that come along with weight gain, and hormonal imbalances, which in turn cause weight gain and cravings. The other thing is it's important to recognize if you're eating due to emotions or are you actually physically hungry, and then identifying those emotions. Um, and the thing is, the truth is that everyone can incorporate mindful eating into their life. It truly is universal. You can go anywhere in the world and you can incorporate mindful eating. Even if you don't suffer from emotional eating or binge eating, it's really important to think of food as fuel rather than an escape, right? And sometimes, with emotional eating, you may do it, regularly, you may do it once in a while, you may not even realize that you're doing it. But after learning these things today, you might start to be more aware of those types of things. So let me share with you a little bit about how learning about regaining control of food has changed my life and gaining control of my eating habits has changed my life. So little backstory on me. When I was about 14 or 15 years old, I started dieting, and I did not need to diet, although in my mind I did. So in my family growing up, the message I got was, "Oh, she's thin, she's fit," and I always was, naturally thin. I was a mindful eater and intuitive and all that stuff, a normal eater. But I also loved sports. I loved being competitive. I loved being an athlete. I loved soccer. I loved playing softball growing up, all of my young years and all through high school. I love being competitive, and that just was the result, right, of being competitive is being thin and fit and healthy. And so people would praise me a lot at a young age, and so I basically took that on as my identity. And if I didn't have that, I did not know who I would be. So in order to do that, I was afraid to gain weight as I was growing and maturing. And so I decided to diet kind of in secret because I knew if my parents knew about it, they would, tell me, stop doing that. You don't need to do that. You're already thin, you're already fit. Be really upset with me. So I had to do it under wraps to feel safe. So my dieting turned into, maybe like a few months later, into challenging myself to how little I could eat. So I would start out, just skipping breakfast every day. And I thought, oh, okay, I got this down. Now I'm going to go and wonder how far I can get to lunchtime without eating. And then going as far as I could to the afternoon. I just remember being in high school by the time I was like 16 years old and trying to go as long as I could in the day without eating. And I remember coming home and sitting with my lunchbox in my bedroom, door closed, and just staring at my lunchbox, trembling because I was so hungry and felt cold from not eating. Um, and just contemplating in my head, it's like, what should I eat this? Should I not eat that? Um, and finally, I would, maybe convince myself, oh, okay, if I can have a little piece of this thing, that's just fine. That's enough. And I'll close it up and put it away. But it was such a conflicting experience because I knew the nourishment, but I also knew I needed to stay thin and fit to be appreciated and loved. So later on, when I went to college, I was so excited because I knew that I would be on my own and I can do whatever I wanted to do with my food and my exercise, and I wouldn't have people always asking me, "Oh, have you eaten yet? Stop exercising so much," and so on. So as soon as I went away to college, I, started dabbling with, eating less, and also with diet pills and with purging. Got to the point in my life where I had restricted food for so long and calories for so long that my body just took over my thoughts, and I was craving sugar like crazy. And so I started stealing food from roommates. I started stealing food from the little, bulk bins at the student store because I was afraid to pay for food because for me it felt like I was overeating, which is kind of weird. If I paid for it, it may confirm that I was eating more, but maybe not paying for it made me feel like I could, pretend I wasn't eating. So, and then over time, I just felt like so out of control with my food. I would binge on sugar and food. And then I thought, oh man, if I just, purge this or throw it up, I'll, be fine. So I started engaging in binging and purging on a regular basis and just all of a sudden realized that this wasn't what the diet says. The diets that I did before never included binging and purging. So at that point, I just looked at myself in the mirror one night after purging and thought, oh my goodness, I need help. This is ridiculous. I'm out of control. This is really scary. Um, so, that next day or a few days, I called my doctor, made an appointment, went to see her, and admitted to her and anybody, even to myself for the first time, that I was struggling with an eating disorder and I needed help. So she didn't really know what to do, how to help me, which is okay. But I ended up calling my mom and letting her know, admitting to my issues. And she right away was so great and, went to the college to see if there was support there, or, some local treatment programs or therapists that could help me. And so I ended up in a 1-year treatment program called Eat Slow, Eating Assessment and Treatment in San Luis Obispo, an amazing group. I don't think they're there anymore, but completely changed my life. My therapist, Mary, was amazing. And I give her so much thanks for all the things she helped me with. But in that program, it was challenging and I was ready to change, but I wasn't ready to change. And I actually got worse before I got better. And there was a point where there was a suspect that I might have been having a heart attack because I had a lot of chest pain and burning. And so I was taken to the emergency room by my mom when she came up to visit me at college. And luckily, it turned out to be nothing. But at that point in my life, I was probably the first time in my life that I actually felt suicidal. I really didn't care if I died because I knew that if I did end up dying, then my parents would take me seriously for once. Because growing up as youngest of 3 in my family, I never really felt like I was taken seriously. And I was taught that crying wasn't okay and that holding in emotions was better. And I was, I was experiencing, feelings of shame if I cried, yeah, growing up. And so as I grew and matured into my young adulthood, I used food as a way to comfort myself, restricting a way to comfort myself and not feel emotions, to numb myself from feeling any strong negative emotions, which made sense because I wasn't allowed to feel. So I would just restrict my food or binge and purge. Really felt to me like a release, but really destroyed my life. So through my recovery, after all that happened, I finally realized that, you know what, I'm done. If the only way I can be the athlete and the mom in the future that I want to be, I absolutely have to get better, or I'm not going to get those things in my life. So that was my strong why. I knew for me that being an athlete and a competitive athlete in my adult years and wanting to be a mom in the future was super important to me. And that spoke to me. And I went to my therapist and told her what I needed for my life, and I was ready to make change. And from that day on, I decided to stop purging, to really work my treatment program, to really work the therapy that I was getting, and to move forward. So in this whole process, I matured at least 10 years in the process, and learned all about mindful eating, learned all about intuitive eating, learned how to trust my body again, learned how to trust food again and people, and really fall in love with me as a person, because I really felt like I was unworthy and didn't have any value. But growing over time, and through, I really believe that God healed me, and me doing the work alongside Him is what led me to my forever healing from eating disorders. And I'm eternally grateful for all those people in my life, for God, for my family, for the support I had, and for the clients that I have had over the past 20 years in my practice, and the lives that have been changed because of what I've gone through and because of what I've learned in my education and in my life experience, how to help women to move out of dieting and into sustained weight loss without having to diet or restrict food or calories or anything like that, but to actually live a lifestyle of mindfulness and intuitive eating, which I have to say is pivotal and the cornerstone of my eating lifestyle. So I just want to share that with you, and how mindful and intuitive eating does work if you're struggling with food. So, all right. So after that, let me go back now. So think about your life and how it could change for the better, just like mine did. If you want to learn how to make this part of your life, I want to invite you to register for my course or even meet with me one-on-one. So like I said, I have the Well Within Lifestyle Academy, which goes through all of the things I just discussed in this program about exploring and knowing your why, learning about self-sabotage, learning about negative self-talk and how to get over those things, and then also creating your vision for yourself, And that's all in my Academy program, along with nutrition education, fitness education, goal setting, meal planning, and all the practical aspects of wellness. And then, of course, you can meet with me one-on-one. I'm available if you're not in my area in North Idaho. You can meet with me via Zoom, or I can meet with you one-on-one if you're in my area and help you through any of these things you may be dealing with. Okay. So, of course, you can use all this great information I just shared with you today to help you regain control of your eating habits and begin to use food as fuel and learn how to live without dieting. Or you can get started with me in my online self-paced course, or of course in one-on-one sessions where I can take you into wellness and out of diets as a direct path. You can research all this online and piece it all together if you want and spend hours trying to figure it out for free with no real solution, or you can join me. I have spent years doing the work for you already, tons of research and practical experience, and giving you the steps and the solution that you need through my Academy program. So the Academy program, like I said, is called the Well Within Lifestyle Academy. And this academy is meant for women, specifically. Men can do it too. For women who have done all the diets out there, who've been stuck in the diet cycle and want to get out, who struggle maybe with emotional eating or binge eating and just want another way to be healthy, or just wanting to learn about overall wellness and how to live out a wellness lifestyle for the long haul. So the Well Within Lifestyle Academy builds upon the great information we just talked about, but it takes you to an even higher level because it's personal and it's planned out to be just for you. Because I do, in each of my modules and sessions, you also have an opportunity to journal with some prompting questions that I give you in order to dive in and discover your emotional needs and roots and things that are keeping you stuck. The Well Within Lifestyle Academy is personalized. It's a personalized plan designed to help you heal your relationships with food and body, allowing you to freely break through into diet freedom. And the cool thing is, not just that, but the physique and shape you desire. The Well Within Lifestyle Academy, in the academy, you'll learn how to leave diets behind and the diet cycle, and identify common triggers and step into a lifetime of total wellness as your path to weight loss. It also helps to identify the emotional roots and mental barriers that have kept you stuck and unable, to achieve lifelong wellness. It'll help you break through into total body wellness, meaning mind, body, soul, and spirit. You'll learn how to end emotional eating and befriend food again by becoming a mindful and intuitive eater. I will teach you how to fall in love with fitness, it's true, truly enjoy food with no strings attached, and get excited about your self-care so you can better care for other people, right? So if you're taking care of yourself, and not only if you are taking care of yourself, but you're being an example of self-care to others around you, like your children, your grandchildren, your spouse, your friends, you're going to model that behavior for them. They're going to mimic that. So what a great example you could be for others in your life when learning this lifestyle. In the Well Within Lifestyle Academy, you break free from diets and step into sustainable weight loss and wellness today. So as soon as you begin, the transformation begins. So this is what you get in the Academy. Just want to give you a little price breakdown. So 3 modules exploring emotional behaviors and limiting mindset. It's about $300 value. Mindful eating and intuitive eating education is about $150 value. Actually, they are $150 value. In-depth research based nutrition basics, education, and meal plan. You get actually 2 meal plans in this and a 30-day workout plan for $250. It includes a fitness and intuitive exercise education, how to create new habits and keep them for $200. It includes, like I said, 2 30-day meal plans and recipes and grocery list actually that goes along with those to get you started. It gives you 6 weeks, a complete 6-week workout program for all levels from beginner to advanced at $150. It also includes an online private Facebook community support with monthly Q&A and workshops. So I'm in that group and I'm answering questions and supporting you through the journey of the Academy. And the academy is all done online. It's self-paced and with community support. So the total value is $5,000, but good news is I'm not going to charge you $5,000. So you don't have to worry about that. So let's talk about the bonuses. So within this academy, there's a few bonuses. I also provide you a hormone balance guide and education to break through any of those hormone imbalances that are keeping your weight stuck. $50 value. I also provide you a 10-day sugar detox program that I did with my group. Amazing. It's actually one of the most popular things I've ever done with my groups. Saw so many amazing results and just people feeling better for $40. I also include an organic produce selection guide for $50 and a 21-day reset cleanse, which some of you may have done, for $69. These are all life-changing things. I also include a quick start guide. So before you even begin the academy modules, I give you a 6-week fitness program for all levels to start with, and also a 30-day clean eating meal plan with recipes and grocery lists, so you can get started on your wellness journey as you're learning about your emotional needs. Oh, and I just added this actually. So I am giving, included in the program is a 1-hour one-on-one nutrition counseling session with me. And my 1-hour session is $102. So that is included already in the price of the program. In the program, after completing the academy, Well Within Lifestyle Academy, you'll be able to freely end emotional eating, fall in love with fitness and your physique, fully enjoy balanced nutrition, break through any weight loss barriers, challenge negative beliefs and thoughts, gaining confidence. And this is the best one. All my clients love this part. To feel free and light, removing the burden of guilt, shame, and fear around food and body. And if for any reason you will do this, this is probably the most important thing, that the best feeling is to just feel that burden lifted off of you of feeling guilt, shame, and fear around food and body, or just having the freedom to not diet anymore, but still get results. That's pretty exciting. All right, so here's a testimonial from my friend, one of my clients and Academy members, Belinda. She says, "This program has changed my life. Going in, I thought it was going to be just about diet and nutrition. Sure, there were those, but there's so much more. This program goes for the total body, mind, and soul, as well as building friendships. I loved everything about it. There's lots of resources at your disposal, and Cynthia is always there if you have any questions. I would highly recommend this nutrition program to anyone who is ready for a totally different kind of weight loss program that works." So thanks, Belinda. That was so sweet. Actually, she did the academy with me in the summer. We did it in a small group at my church, and it's pretty amazing. Okay, and my friend Cindy, we've been friends since our kids were little. So she says, "Cynthia Ray, she is bright, informative, and so passionate about what she does. If you're looking for a change in your health and mindset, she's your girl." Thanks, Cindy. She actually was in my test group when I tested out this program. We had 6 women in the test group, and I have some testimonials from them, but I can't share them all. So pretty amazing stuff. Okay, so here's the price. Like I said, it's not $5,000, but it's worth $5,000. The value is $5,000. So the price is $497 for a one-time payment in full. So if you pay it up front, it's $48 when paying, it's $48 off when paying in full. So you actually get almost $50 discount when you pay up front, and it's just debited one time from your account. It also includes a 30-day money-back guarantee, and a 7-day trial for only $1 is available. If you would like that, just let me know. You can email me. Or your other option is payments. So you can pay $60.55 per month for 9 months. And however you pay for this program or purchase the program, you get lifetime access. So you have it for life to go back to and refer to, and any updates that I create will also be automatically put in there as well. So for $60.55, it says 4 monthly payments, but it's actually 9. It says 4 at the top, it's actually 9 monthly payments. It's debited from your account from the date of the initial payment for 9 months, a total of $545. So it's a little bit more than the one-time upfront fee. And this also includes a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you start doing it and you feel like it's not everything you hoped it was no problem. You get your 30-day money back guarantee. If you decide you don't want it in 30 days, just let me know. No questions asked, and I will refund your money. So it also includes a 7-day trial for only $1. So once you register, you'll get your free trial to check it out and try it on. So here's the bonuses again, all these awesome things: hormone balance guide, 10-day sugar detox, 21-day whole body cleanse, grocery shopping guide to clean produce, and a 1-hour one-on-one nutrition counseling session with me, and online community support that's ongoing with regular FAQs. All right, my other friend, Donita, my sweet friend Donita, she has another testimonial. She said, I went to the doctor today and weighed. When I started the program, I weighed 346 pounds. When I weighed today, I weighed 327 pounds. So when this happened, she was only maybe like a month or two in, which was pretty amazing. The charts, classes, information that I received from the classes, and the camaraderie of the sisters really made this easy to do. The hunger chart from the classes helps me regulate how full I feel. Mindfulness and paying attention to how much I eat helps. Since I can have whatever I might be craving, I don't feel deprived. I love this plan. I'm looking forward to showing off the new me, Danita Ambrogini. Thank you, Danita. That's so sweet. Okay, so like I said, it does come with a 30-day money back guarantee. After trying it out and working through the academy for 30 days, the only thing I do need is proof that you're working through it for 30 days, so I know that you're getting info out of it. Academy for 30 days, and if you don't feel it's for you, no worries. You can receive a full refund. So if you want to get started now and you're ready to get started now and you know this is the program for you, all you need to do is go to wellwithinnutrition.com/WWLA to get started, or you can message me and let me know if this is the program for you. You can also go to wellwithinnutrition.com, my website, and you can contact me from there and I can get you started. So again, here's the pricing. It's 9 monthly payments of $60.55 or $497, which is most popular. It's a one-time payment where you will save $48 when paying in full. And that is about it. Actually, you know what? Let me go through a few frequently asked questions. Okay, so can I just use willpower to overcome my urges to eat? And the truth is, not really. Willpower will help you in the short term, but it's not a good long-term strategy. So like I said before, it's better to identify the reason behind your urges, so like the emotional reasons, so you can resolve or eliminate them altogether. How do hormones affect the way I eat? When you're stressed, your cortisol levels change, which then leads to an increase in appetite and food cravings. This can result in you eating even if you're not actually hungry, and you could end up overeating, right? And this is actually because of a hormonal change. How does eating slowly help me? If you eat too fast, you might not get the signal that you are full until you have already eaten too much. And this is very common in binge eating specifically. So slowing down when you're eating, waiting that 20 minutes is key. In binge eating, is binge eating the same as overeating? Actually, they're not the same. Just because you might overeat at times does not mean you have a binge eating problem. It's also known as binge eating disorder. It mainly depends on how often you binge eat. If you lose control and feel like you can't stop eating, and how you feel during and after the binge episode is what really matters, right? We talked about that a lot. What should I do if I get triggered by something and overeat? So make sure to give grace as you learn and know that every day is a new day, right? With my clients in my practice, I always tell them, it's an experiment. You're learning. Give yourself some grace. Write down what you learned, and then we'll talk about it. And then next time that happens, you'll know exactly what to do. What is done, so there's no point in feeling bad about it. Journal about what caused you to overeat, so you'll be able to identify similar triggers in the future, right? So remember HALTs: hungry, angry, lonely, tired, stressed. HALTs. Those are the key emotions that you may be feeling when wanting to overeat or binge eat or emotionally eat. So here's the pricing again for the program if you're interested, $60.55 per month and $497 for a one-time payment. Okay. What should I do if I get triggered by something and overeat? Oh, we did this one already. Am I done? Oh, here we go. So special bonus for you all is I am offering just for a limited time, actually only until December 19th. This program for Black Friday and the holidays is 25% off. You're going to use the coupon. It says here 25 off, but actually that coupon code has changed. It's actually 25 WWLA. So 25 WWLA is the coupon code for both pricing options. So if you're paying monthly, you're still going to get 25% each of the monthly fees. If you're paying it up front, you're going to get 25% off the total fee. So just so you know, it's 25 WWLA. 25 WWLA is the coupon code to get 25% off both pricing options. So get started today. Let's do this, ladies. If you feel like this speaks to you, I'm ready for you. You can come join all the beautiful women in my group. And the truth is, if you make the decision to start today, tomorrow can be your day one. You can start on your wellness journey with me, get rid of dieting, move out of the dieting cycle, start identifying any emotions that trigger eating for you, and just learn how to balance out your diet and heal and restore your relationship with food. So, and like I said, this program is different because it addresses obviously the emotions and mindset and helps you develop a strong why, which no other program does. And any traditional diet program will keep you in that diet cycle and keep you stuck. But the cool thing is that this program and what I have to offer offers you a way out of the diet cycle and into real wellness and long-term weight loss. So like I said, the program is $497 plus at this time until December 19th, you get 25% off or 9 monthly payments of $60.55. If you do it that way, it's $545 total. And they both include a 7-day free trial, and they both include the 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you're not exactly sure, you can just try it out for 30 days, see how you like it, ask me some questions, join the group, and enjoy the program. So again, if you go to wellwithinnutrition.com/WWLA, you can register and get started and get more information right there. You can also reach out to me via my website, wellwithinnutrition.com, or private message me on Facebook, Cynthia Ray. All right, so you have stayed till the end, and I do have a special bonus for you. It's the Overcoming Emotional Eating Guide, a how-to guide to overcoming emotional eating. And if you would like access to this, just comment below with, let's see, I should do a comment special bonus, and I will get in touch with you, and will just need your email address. So if you want to personally message me with that, or I can get in touch with you, I'll probably message you if you comment below, and I'll get in touch with you to get your email address, and I can send that to you to your inbox. So it's a little free gift for me, and I hope you enjoy that. And that is all for my presentation today, our class today. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that you've learned a lot about emotional eating and how to avoid it. And if you want that program, make sure to reach out, personally message me, and just know that the coupon code for 25% off, 25 WWLA, expires on December 19th. So if you know of a friend who needs this, or you need this yourself, this is for you. Take care. Bye.